everyone. My name is Albert Chan, and I'm the Japan and Korea country head of PSA here at Google. I'm also the founder of Asian Google Network at Sales, where our mission is to drive awareness and education for how Asians can be successful here at Google and in our communities. And today is our very first talks at Google with our very special guest, Nigel Ng. Nigel, welcome to Google virtually.
Hey, thank you, Albert. How's it going?
It's going well, man. It's going well. I'm a huge fan of your work, and I would say this is the closest thing to orange shirt that I have in my closet. Really,
Yeah, it's a sort of weird salmony color. It's nice.
I know. I tried my hardest. But it's as close as I could get. Nigel, many people know of Uncle Roger, but maybe not the real you. So why don't we start off by sharing a little bit about yourself?
Okay, sure. Hey guys, my name's Nigel Ng. I'm a comedian and content creator. I currently live in London, United Kingdom, but I am originally from Malaysia. So I grew up in Malaysia first 20 years of my life, and then I moved to the US. I studied at Northwestern actually, so I lived in the US near Chicago for 5 years, and I moved to the UK in 2015. I started doing stand-up since 2011, freshman year in university, and I just kept doing it. Had a day job, and then I just would do stand up at night, and then gradually stand up got more and more. I got paid more and more, a little bit more from it. I could sustain myself. Then I went down to part-time day job, part-time stand up, and then finally full-time stand up in 2019, September 2019. And then 6 months later, the pandemic broke out. So that's a terrible time to become a comedian, be a stand-up comedian. Especially, I went full-time, and then 6 months later, I was unemployed. So I started doubling down on the content stuff around that time. I was always doing YouTube. I've been doing YouTube since 2019 as well. But during the pandemic, I just had more time. So I just made more and more videos. And that's how Uncle Roger came about.
Amazing. So why comedy?
It's fun, I think why do people do things, right? Because it's fun, it's satisfying. And before comedy, I used to be a data scientist. And I have to say, I enjoyed that too. Not as much as I enjoy doing comedy, but the data science stuff was very self-taught. I don't know how technical you guys are, but I taught myself Python, taught myself a lot of statistics and like machine learning and stuff. So I quite enjoyed it as well. It was satisfying too. But then comedy was just something I've always wanted to do, and I realize now because I'm young enough to fuck up and still be okay. So why not give it a shot now?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, at times like this, unfortunately, with all the hate that's been going on in the AAPI community, sometimes we just need to laugh, right? And
Yeah.
is happy, right? And I understand a few months ago, unfortunately, you too had an experience as well, right? Would you mind sharing a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. I suspect it was, a hate crime, race-based thing, racially motivated attack, but, without catching and interrogating the perpetrator, you'll never know for sure, right? But also the term AAPI seems like that feels like a newer term, right? When I was in university at Northwestern, nobody said AAPI. And I had a joke about this. I have a podcast where I joke about how AAPI, it's an acronym, and then we have to explain what Pacific Islander is to people, so I still don't know who a Pacific Islander is, is it Hawaiian? Is that what who they are? But in any case, with the rise of COVID, we all know that there's been a rise of Asian-related hate crimes, and it's very tragic. So what happened was, I was just walking home after lunch on my street, actually, and I live in a decent neighborhood in West London. I was just walking down the street. Suddenly, this guy on a bicycle saw me and he just hopped off his bicycle and came at me really aggressively, sort of walking towards me. And at first, I thought he wanted a photo, because it's like, oh, it's a fan. And then he came. He didn't want a photo. He just wanted to punch me, and it just started hitting me. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? And then I remember all he said was, you know what you did? You know what you did? And, I don't know what I did. I don't know who he was. But fortunately, there were two people around. So when I, yelled for help, he noticed that there were two people around. So he just cycled away. I wasn't that hurt, a few hours after the incident, I still went on a date. So that was, I wasn't injured enough to cancel the date. So I'm glad he had mercy on me, And
Good.
you have to you can't let a hate crime stop you from finding love, right? You know?
Totally, totally. If anything, it might have given you more sympathy points, right?
Oh yeah. Too bad it didn't work out. So yeah.
Sorry to hear that. So you talked about your day job, right?
Mhm.
Which you did great in. And hey, you may be able to find a job here at Google as well with all of your coding backgrounds. But how did your parents take your career change, going from like a data scientist to
Mhm.
call it like a full-time comedian?
Oh yeah. Well, Asian parents, right? They're always worried.
Yeah,
I don't know how many people. Is this an Asian event? This one? Is everyone in watching this Asian? I don't know. Let us know
it's
so I
open to
can
everyone.
tweak my answers
We're
according
inclusive.
to.
We're inclusive here, Nigel. It's for everyone.
Okay, great. But if a group's majority Asian, there are certain things I don't have to explain. I don't have to explain what like a shumai is. But if majority white people, I'll say dumpling. I want to be inclusive, right? What was I saying? Oh, Asian parents, they always worry because they just want they don't want us to suffer like them, right? So they want us to live a comfortable life where we don't have to worry about money. So they always want to push us towards like a practical degree, practical job. So my white collar job was my data scientist job. They were very proud of it. They were like, oh yeah, he's doing well in London, data science at a startup. So they were a bit worried at first because when I went full-time comedy, I told them that all I had was just stand-up. I didn't have like a big online presence. Before Uncle Roger blew up, my YouTube sub count was at 7,000. So it wasn't like an income stream or anything. I was just doing it for fun. So yeah, they were a bit worried. But when Uncle Roger blew up, they were relieved. They were like, okay, Nigel seems to know what he's doing. And also, fun fact, Uncle Roger has been the only thing of mine that they have laughed at. Because it's a simple character that they can relate to. It's modeled based off of them. The belt phone case and the way I sit on the chair with one leg up. That's how my dad sits, So they relate to it. And also his English is very simple. He speaks in an Asian accent, so my parents could actually understand, because if I sound like this, it's quite fast and the accent's quite neutral. So for someone who grew up in Asia who didn't really speak English that much, they couldn't really understand it. So they came to one of my shows once, and my dad's English isn't great, but he still came to one of my shows in Kuala Lumpur when I was performing there. And then after the show, I did well, and then I asked him, how'd you like it? And my dad was like, I didn't get most of it, but I just laughed when other people laughed, So I'm glad that not only with Uncle Roger, not only were they not worried about me anymore, but they also relate to it and laugh at it. So that's great.
That's awesome. How hard has it been, would you say, being Asian in this industry for you?
I would say if you're an Asian American trying to make it in the U.S. comedy scene, I think it's still tough, but it might be a little bit easier now because we seem to be trendier now in the US, which is great. We have only in the US. In the UK, nobody gives a shit. But in the US, this year you had what? You had Minari, and then you had Bling Empire. Last year you had Parasite. Everybody loved it, and Boba is a big thing. And you also Asian. I feel looking at it from a distant perspective is like Asian Americans. You guys seem to have your own culture as well. There's not like Asian culture, but it's Asian American culture, So I think as an Asian American in the US, because there's so many of you and you have a distinct culture and all like things you do and food you eat, I think it's definitely tougher compared to like the default, white American male type person. Definitely an extra layer I have to overcome, I have to certain things I won't know what jokes people will get. I have to learn about how they grew up here in the UK or in the US. So there's certain things I have to learn about.
Makes sense. And where do you say you get your inspiration, your ideas from for like some of your stand-up comedy?
Just life, man. Right? I think I have a lot of jokes about food, So
Yeah.
the Uncle Roger stuff doesn't exist in a vacuum. And I don't know how many of you guys have been to the UK, but food here is grim, man. They have a thing called a meal deal here, and they have a meal deal is basically you can get like a sandwich or a little snack, a drink, and some chips, potato chips. We call it crisps here for like £3, and that's a meal deal. And it's just very sad. A sandwich is like the saddest thing, isn't it? Because it's cold, you buy it from inside a fridge. And the crazy thing is, I know people who work as bankers here. You know, they make upwards of six figures a year, and then they still eat sandwiches for lunch. I'm like, what's the point of having money if you have to eat a sandwich? You know?
Totally.
So yeah, the jokes come from my frustrations at life here, the cultural differences, everything. Just everything.
Yeah, it's funny because like my kids are also fans of your show, and then sometimes I'll hear them say like, this salad is so sad.
Yeah, tastes like
I'm like,
sad. Yeah.
that's from Uncle Roger.
I mean,
Um,
are they wrong? Salad. When does a salad ever taste like joy? Like nobody eats salads for the joy it brings them. We eat them because we like, how we look after we eat salads.
yes, you're just eating grass essentially.
Yeah.
Um, one of the questions that came from the poll that we did actually before this was, has anything embarrassing happened to you on stage that you're willing to share?
Anything embarrassing? I think bombing. Does that count? Just not doing well, getting booed off stage. I mean, but that's a rite of passage for every comedian, really.
That is.
Yeah, I think my worst show here was at a place called Butlins, which is like a very shit British seaside resort. And the people there at 3 in the afternoon, they were all drunk and they're all very rowdy. And let's just put it this way: it's like I'm not the person they were expecting to talk to them. It's a very they're not okay. Let's put it this way: they're very white. They're not racist, but sometimes you just want to relate when you're drunk. You just want to relate to someone who has the same life experience as you, who looks like you, And when something foreign comes along, you're drunk, and then you're like, oh, I don't know what this is, and then they started heckling, and it was just really bad.
Got it.
So,
yeah. I personally grew up in Oklahoma, and so I personally know what that feels like. Just going to school every day. So if you weren't a comedian, Nigel, what else would you do? Besides your previous life and job, what would you do?
I'll do the data science thing, man. Or I would do I'm probably not smart enough to get into Google. Let's be honest here. You guys, your interview process, you guys have to solve like puzzles on the board or something, and algorithms, right? I'm probably not good enough for that. But I think I could have gotten into, a lot of my friends are in, like they graduated and they went to consulting, McKinsey, BCG, all that stuff. I think I would have gone that route. I think I'm okay, smart enough to do that. And then they would do a lot of my peers, they do consulting for a few years and then leave and then start their own startup or work at another startup. So I think that's what I would have done. Try to do something in the tech world.
Have you ever considered moving out of the UK? Sounds like the food's not great and everything. Would you consider moving elsewhere, like maybe back to the US or something like that?
I was thinking about this, but I'm 30, and it's a bit sad when you have to move when you're 30. Imagine, say, entertainment, right? I have to move to LA, and then I move to LA. I'm 30. I have to try to make new friends. You ever try to make new friends when you're 30? It's so depressing and embarrassing almost. What do? Meetup groups? So I've flirted with the idea of moving somewhere, but I think I would like to have my base here in London. I have a lot of friends here. I have no family here, but I would like my base to be here in London because my social network is here. But I will go to the US for work, maybe for a month, 2 months. I would like to split my time between Malaysia, London, and some other place that I do work in.
Got it. Mm-hmm. I'm getting a lot of pings right now saying like, ask some Uncle Roger questions. Ask some Uncle Roger questions, right? So
Let's do it. Let's do it
a little bit, Nigel. All right. So
yeah, feel free to leave comments too, listeners. And if something catches my eye, I'll answer it.
Totally. So how did the Uncle Roger persona come to life? Like what inspired you to come up with that?
Well, I host a podcast with a fellow Asian comic. She's based in She's Swedish, but Swedish, but based in London. It's called Rise to Meet You. We were very proud of the podcast, and it all started from there, really, because I like podcasts because it's long form and you can just improvise and just go crazy, and it's a good way of trying out new material and stuff and trying out new ideas. So one day she said she's working on a sitcom script and she wrote this character called Roger, who's modeled after me. who's like an Asian bro who works out and drinks protein shakes and objectifies women. I don't think she wrote about the objectify women part, but an Asian bro. But then I took the name Roger, but I added my own. I turned him into a middle-aged uncle type character because I think I can play that character better. I grew up speaking like Uncle Roger in Malaysia. That's kind of how we sounded. Sure, Uncle Roger, I've tweaked the accent a bit, but growing up, I sounded like closer to how Uncle Roger sounds now than how I sound today. So it came quite naturally to me. I think we just were riffing about what if a middle-aged Asian uncle was an estate agent, who's just trying to close a sale, but somebody died there previously, and you can see blood on the wall, but don't worry, it all okay. Nice house, so cozy. Ignore the blood, So we're just riffing something like that, So Uncle Roger kind of started there from me riffing on the podcast. And I realized, okay, it's doing character comedy on social media was one of my goals for 2020, right? And I was like, okay, this Uncle Roger character, people seem to like it because we've also experimented with a few other characters on the Rise to Meet You podcast. I think 3 characters, only one of them people liked, which is Uncle Roger. The others were, I think, work in progress. Let's put it that way. Nice. So Uncle Roger, people seem to like it. And I started to think about, okay, how can I use this character? So the first thing I did was a few TikTok videos starring Uncle Roger. And the outfit, I basically texted all my Asian friends here, my Western Asian friends, asking them to send me a picture of your dad because I'm trying to come up with a character outfit. And a lot of them, when they texted back, it's just a bright, garish polo shirt, which seems to be quite a common, Asian dad uniform here. So that's where the polo shirt came from. I bought an orange polo shirt on Amazon. And then, I just did a few TikTok clips. It went really viral, 1 million views overnight. I was like, okay, this is great. Let's try to do something longer. And the first thing that came about, a fan of the podcast sent me that BBC egg fried rice clip. And even without Uncle Roger, I said I want to comment on this. This is hilarious. But then there was a time where I came up with Uncle Roger already. So I was like, okay, let's try to use Uncle Roger to comment on this clip. So when that clip was made, I had no idea how it was going to be received. I would have been happy with 10,000 views. So, but yeah, and then and then the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, so how was the feeling, right? So like you post this video, you wake up, and next thing it's like millions after millions and stuff like that, right? Like, what was that feeling like?
Oh, it feels great. I highly recommend going viral if you have a chance. I really recommend it, and it also feels great because a lot of Asian people related to it, and I think as someone from Asia, I do stand up in the Western world, right? And ultimately, a lot of Asian people will not be able to relate because a lot of the times, I speak like this with a very neutral English accent, and then the topics sometimes they can't relate. But I'm just really glad that Uncle Roger was so global. Really cool to me,
Awesome, yeah. There's a question around Jamie Oliver, right?
Yes, has Jamie Oliver reached out for lessons yet?
Yes, and you have
I wish
love-hate with him, right? So yeah, has he reached out, or has his people reached out to you?
No, Jamie hasn't. Gordon's team did. Gordon's team, because I was very nice to his egg fried rice. Gordon's team reached out, and we are trying to work on something together. But Jamie hasn't. I hear from the grapevine, Jamie's team reached out to my old agent, who I was with before, and they said it's mixed reactions, which is just the most British way, the most polite British way of saying we hate you, And then someone's asking, would you do Taskmaster as Uncle Roger? Well, I would do Taskmaster, but I'll probably do it as myself. Taskmaster is a British game show where comics try to solve problems or in a funny way. So I would do it, but probably as myself. I feel like, and this is just my hesitation of bringing Uncle Roger to a mainstream white-centric audience, like I feel, no offense to all the Caucasian people in here, but I feel like white producers might ruin it. They might try to control the direction, and then it might make it like caricature like. Instead of me expressing cultural pride, they want to say Uncle Roger eats dogs, man, that'd be funny, and then they try to control you. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why when I do YouTube, I control everything. I want to say, nobody tells me what to say. And I'm a person who, even before Uncle Roger, I was always championing our culture. So I feel more comfortable if I went on Taskmaster as myself.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And you know, as I look at like other comedians like Tyler Perry, Eddie Murphy, etc., like they've created like a whole family of characters, right? Like, is this like your aspiration as well? I know you said you tried a couple, right? But are you planning on potentially like expanding beyond the Uncle Roger character as well?
See, like my agent keeps telling me to come out with new characters, so I hope so. I think it's tough because ultimately I'm not a character comedian. I'm not the sort of comedian who comes up with 12 different characters and then they can work on them. Because Uncle Roger is just an extension of who I am. It's just that everything I am just amped up a little bit. The Asianness cranked it up. His passion about rice cranked up, and then the way he sounds is just how I used to sound when I was growing up. So I would like to come out with new characters, but I think the reason Uncle Roger is so successful because I think he's very three-dimensional and people can relate. It's a very relatable common archetype that you see, especially if you grow up in Asia. You go to a hawker center or a coffee shop, you see these types of uncles in the say the wife beater sitting with a leg on chair at the kopitiam, the coffee shop.
Yeah.
So I would like to come up with new things, but for now, Uncle Roger and then maybe some stand-up, and who knows, I might riff another great character from the podcast. But with any sort of artistic endeavor, I think it's a little uncertain. The answer is I don't know. I would like to, but I don't know.
Yeah, and so right now, like on a regular basis, right? Like you're churning out like a weekly podcast, right? Like a weekly video as well, right? Like how long does it take you to like create one of these videos and come up with like your ideas and inspiration? Is it like months, weeks, or months ahead?
No. Right now, I'm editing the video that's gonna go out on Sunday. So I plan the ideas, Uncle Roger video ideas, to be 4 weeks ahead, 5 weeks ahead. But everything else, it's just week on week. And podcasting, it's I go about my life and see what happens, and then I write it down. And then when we podcast, sometimes we bring it up.
Got it. There's a lot of positive things, right, about being Uncle Roger, right? I think some folks want to know, like what are some, not so positive things about being Uncle Roger?
Oh, I think some people have brought it up. Some controversy I've been involved in recently. So I think as someone who's somewhat known, everything you do gets scrutinized. So I try my best to stay away from politics and sensitive subjects. I think because I'm not a political comic, right? I just want to make videos about food and cooking. So, but sometimes trouble finds you. And you just can't help it. So I think that's an occupational hazard. I just have to try my best to avoid it next time and learn from these lessons.
Yeah, totally. A lot of your videos are around food, right? So I'm assuming you're a foodie as well.
Oh, definitely. Like what Asian person isn't? Yeah.
The people who eat salad, I guess.
Yeah.
One of the questions we have here is, what is your favorite fried rice place in London?
Ooh. Well, I think I haven't sampled every place's fried rice because sometimes you go out and you want something you want something a bit nicer than fried rice, right? But Din Tai Fung's fried rice is really, really good. Is that thing? You probably have like multiple Din Tai Fungs in the Bay Area, right? Do you have Din Tai Fung there?
We do. Unfortunately, we only have one. Out of all places in like in the entire U.S., the Bay Area has one. I think we were one of the last places actually to actually get one of those.
Yeah, I think that egg fried rice is pretty good. I think a lot of the times an fried rice in the Western world, they cheap out on the sauces and on the aromatics. So you see the rice and it's like white and bland and very dull in color. But you have a fried rice in Asia, it's like we just whack in a sweet soy sauce. It's dark brown, it's rich. So I think I like that kind of flavor profile, a bolder fried rice.
Absolutely. It's interesting. Like when I went to, I think Hong Kong a few years ago, on their menu, they actually had American fried rice as one of their options. I didn't order it, but I was curious what that would be, their version of American fried rice would be.
Yeah. Well, I'd just be the shit version, I guess.
Exactly. So, you started off with fried rice, right? And then you've done, several videos with fried rice, but recently you've actually expanded to like ramen, to like hotel cooking, like in a hotel coffee pot, whatever, right? It's like, where else are you headed? Like, what other types of food would you like to start to review and stuff like that?
It depends what I'm interested in, really. Like ramen, I've always had an interest in it as well, so I'll start reviewing that. But as if I want a long YouTube career, I can't just keep reviewing egg fried rice every week, right? People will get bored of it. So I need to always think about how to branch out. Ideally, if I keep doing this character, hopefully one day I can just review any type of video, just because right now if I review a video that's non-food related, it doesn't get that many views. But hopefully one day I can just review, say, Bling Empire, and people will still watch it, and it'll still be funny, that kind of thing. But in terms of food, I want to branch out to. I think ramen is the big one now. I'll do it until I get good myself at making it. And then the next one, I don't know let's see which Western chef fucks up Asian food and what dish they fuck up next, and then we'll focus on that dish. Maybe pho is next, spring rolls, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have a lot of options out there. So one of the questions from the audience is like, is Uncle's Roger accent like Cantonese, Mandarin, Malaysian, Chinese? Like, how would you describe it?
Pan-Asian is how I would describe it. The reason I don't go full Malaysian is because it's really hard to do I think a full Malaysian accent without the slang words. And by slang words, if you're Malaysian here or if you've been to Malaysia, we have like la, ma, law, and those words are hard to. It's hard to just drop those words from your sentence because those words carry with it a certain meaning. It colors the sentence. So I had to find a way to internationalize the accent a little bit. But I would say a lot of the accent retains a lot of the Malaysianness. The way he speaks, the way his English is broken, the way he repeats himself is how I spoke growing up. Like why like that? Why like that? I would say that, in a casual setting with my friends in Malaysia.
Yeah, I think it's funny sometimes, like your voice actually goes a little bit higher as well, like when you say stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, the high pitched voice just kind of came about because it's just fun to do.
Yes. So in your videos, Nigel, like you do a lot of like K-pop references and stuff, right? Like you'll say something and you'll play a quick like shot of a K-pop, right? So one of the questions is, are you personally a K-pop fan, or is that like an Uncle Roger?
I like K-pop, so I'll try to find ways to slide it in. And also, I think it's quite trendy now also to I'm a YouTuber. I got to stay current. And I also personally like listening to K-pop. It's what I listen to most of the time. And I think it's cool to showcase that part of our culture to the world, right? And it's a nice little Easter egg. People who like, say, Twice or Blackpink will be like, oh, yay, he's putting K-pop on. But people who don't know will just be like, oh, okay, this is cool, but okay, and hopefully they'll go check out actual K-pop groups and artists. But yeah, I personally do listen to a lot of K-pop, yes.
How about the sorry children part of your videos?
That was just an accident, man. I did it for the first time in my Halloween video, I think. And I just kind of say, oh, broke character, and say, oh, sorry children. And then suddenly I got a lot of comments saying, wow, that sorry children took me out. Sorry children, I'm starting to sweat now. People think it's a nice, deep, I don't know, sexy voice compared to how Uncle Roger speaks, that high pitched tone, I guess. So I just kept on doing it. Give the fans what they want, right?
Totally. Well, it's funny because like my kids will watch it and they'll be like, sorry children. And they'll be like, Dad, what's that mean? I'm like, I can't tell you right now. I'll tell you when you're a little bit older.
Hey, Daddy, what's that sound effect? That drum kit sound effect before sorry children? Where is that from, Daddy? So, you tell them, you will find out in 12 years.
Yeah, you'll find out after you're married, when you're 40 years old. How did you come up with Auntie Helen?
That's inspired by real life. I'm actually divorced in real life too, and but we are on good terms. She's a friend now. It just didn't work out because I was too focused on my career. So, and also it's always funnier to laugh at someone who's divorced, right? We have a lot of divorced person jokes, and it's fun to laugh at it. This bitter divorced guy who's just bitter about his ex-wife. It's funny to laugh at divorced people who's lost everything, I think. So that's how it came about. And I think it gives a little glimpse of the character, gives the character a little bit of depth, and it just allows me to play with it. So it's great.
Yeah, no, no, totally. You've done your kind of your Uncle Roger stuff, primarily like in the UK, right? Like you've done a little like when you went back to Malaysia, right? It's like, do you see yourself traveling around kind of the world also, like when the pandemic kind of like becomes better, like in a better situation?
Yeah, I would like to, especially I'm on a tour, do take my stand-up show and tour everywhere. Yeah, I would like to travel, but like I said, I would like to have my base in London. Maybe
Yeah,
spend 2 months out of every year in Malaysia because London's weather gets grim. Maybe December and January I'll spend in Malaysia.
yeah. So,
But yeah, hopefully.
so how will your stand-up change, like in the future, like from just your Uncle Roger experiences over the past year?
How will it change? I think it's gonna change more because the world has changed. After the pandemic, I don't think. I mean, if we ever return to how it was before, it's gonna be maybe a couple years from now. Yes, we'll start traveling again, but the pandemic, COVID will always be the back of everybody's minds. So I think my material will change because the world has changed. And yeah, I'll probably have some jokes about Uncle Roger and things that happened because Uncle Roger blew up. But I don't know yet. I haven't done stand up since like last year, so who knows? I haven't written stand up. You need to write in a room, right? You have to try out the new material in front of an audience. So I haven't had a chance to do that yet. So I don't know how the material is gonna change.
Notice. And maybe like where do you get like who is your comedic inspiration, right? Because we talked about your inspirations like with life and everything, your frustrations, but are there any like comedians out there where you get your inspiration from too?
Yeah, there's a lot. Big fan. If you want to look at the Asian comedians first, big fan of Ronnie Chang and Jimmy O Yang, Ken Jeong, and then I also love right now Tim Dillon, Bill Burr, Nikki Glazer, all the big American stand-ups and some UK stand-ups as well. So everything. I think I get inspiration from everywhere. Like stand-up is a big one. When I watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I steal some of their camera techniques. Sure, I do it in post because it's a static camera, but I steal like how they zoom, how they have a handheld shaky shot right after a punchline, that kind of thing. I want to address a question here, like Lucy. I think it's an interesting question, Lucy Wei. Her question is: you talked about having control over your character and not create a caricature. Do you have that worry for your own channel since it now has such a wide audience, and how do you deal with that? I think it's as a creator and as someone who wants to stay true to myself, yeah, that is a concern. But I think I've handled it pretty well so far, because I think if you focus on what Uncle Roger says and what he does, it's always championing our culture. I point out how Jamie Oliver fucked up ramen by using soba instead of ramen, and I think not trying to say I'm the white knight of Asian cuisine here, but I think when you want to point out what people are doing wrong, nobody wants to feel chastised. Right? Nobody wants to feel like an idiot. So I try to do it in a humorous way. And I think people laugh, and hopefully people also see, and through my videos, I'm trying to showcase the good examples as well, right? So this Sunday's video is going to be me reviewing a Chinese chef called Wang Gang. He's like a, professional chef, very famous in China, but the Western world hasn't heard of him yet. So I think through my videos, hopefully people will learn that, okay, the proper way of how not to make Asian food, and also the proper way how Asian food is supposed to be made. So everything I do, it's an attempt to lift our culture up, and that's how I make sure I don't fall into the trap of like just selling out. Hope that answers your question, Lucy.
Awesome. And then Nigel, when it comes to like you filming, on site with some of your videos and stuff, how many people are usually with you, like recording with you, and then also maybe post production and stuff like that?
It's very minimal, very, very minimal. Maybe 2 camera guys and a sound guy. That's it. And I think I like it that way because then it feels, it's YouTube, right? You don't want it to be too polished. It loses something because YouTube, the great thing about YouTube is the directness. You can talk to your audience directly. You can look straight down the barrel of the camera, and people actually like if it feels homemade because then it feels more authentic. So I like to keep the production small, 2 or 3 cameras max and a sound guy. That should be enough for me to travel the world if I want to shoot anything, globally. And yeah, my videographer is also my editor. And I do the editing myself as well. So the way it works is if it's a reaction video, I film it, I pass it to him. He does the first pass, I do the second pass. He does the third pass, fourth pass, fifth pass, sixth passes. So each video takes around 15 to 20 hours to edit, and I do half, he does half. That's why you can see even from the first video until now, you can still see the signature of the editing because I still go into the Adobe Premiere Pro project and actually edit and touch the files, So yeah, my post-production crew is just him and me.
Interesting. One of the funny questions I see here is who does your hair and your makeup for your video?
Myself. Yeah. I mean, who do you think? This is a reaction video. I can't hire a crew. I don't have a trailer waiting outside for me to just chill in. It's me. I just have a simple concealer and we're Asian, right? We know our skincare shit. And my hair, I blow dry it, hairspray a little bit, get that parting, get that Jackson Wang part. You guys know. So I think it adds to it too because for so long now, Asians a lot of times we are portrayed as geeky, nerdy, and having an Asian uncle with a trendy haircut. I think it's cool. It's something different. Sure, it's not believable because most Asian uncles won't have trendy haircuts, but it's my videos. I can look good or ugly if I want to.
So in your videos, Nigel, you talk a lot about MSG, right?
Yes.
In real life, how much MSG are you really sprinkling on your food?
Oh, if I make my own food, I'll definitely sprinkle it. Definitely. Like, I use it like salt, Sometimes when I have friends over, I when you make pasta, you salt the water first. I put MSG in the water. I MSG my pasta water. Seriously, I do use it because I think it's just salt with layers to it, And, if I have friends coming over, if they are maybe Western people, well, white people, sure. And if they come over, I won't tell them that I've used MSG if I'm making the food. I'll just say, oh yeah, just have some, And I do eat MSG, and I'm a big proponent of it. I don't think I think the people think it's bad for you, but I think that's a myth. It's been proven that's a myth, right? So I do eat a lot of MSG when I cook myself. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the questions we have here is which video of yours that you've made would you say is your favorite?
Oh, okay. All-time favorite has to be the Chef Wan one. Because if you don't know, it's a video I filmed in Malaysia where I collaborated with the biggest celebrity chef in Malaysia, Chef Wan. He's the Gordon Ramsay of Malaysia. He's like known in TV for like 30 years now. Very, very veteran. Great personality. I basically went to his. The plot is I go to his restaurant. I roast his restaurant. Say, why are you serving aioli and why are you serving like lobster bisque? It's so white, that kind of thing. And then he roasts me back when he shows me up in the kitchen because I'm not actually a professional chef. I'm a home cook. So he brings me to the kitchen and then he just has all these skills and it looks amazing. And the reason I like it so much is because I feel like there was in Malaysia, I have my own different video team that I hire, right? Because I can't bring my London videographer with me to Malaysia. So that was the second time I was working with them. So we kind of have a good communication going on. And I started getting more comfortable directing as well. And I think Chef Wan is a great personality. But I think the biggest reason is because, like I said, the whole reason of me doing Uncle Roger is because I'm proud of my own culture, right? So being able to showcase Chef Wan on my platform, and right now I think it's 3-4 million views now to people all over the world showcasing Malaysian food. I'm just really proud of that. Yeah, and in a fun way, nobody wants to watch like a generic Malaysian cooking video. Oh, today we're gonna make this Malaysian rendang. It's nice, but it's kind of boring if you're not interested in actually making the food. But the fact that I can showcase this type of food in an entertaining way and people just view it even though they have no interest in cooking whatsoever, I'm just really proud of that.
So how do you improve it and take feedback? Are you reading the comments in YouTube and some other social platforms trying to get areas of improvements?
Yes, everything. I think it all. Yeah, I keep an eye on the comments, and there are a lot of mean ones, of course, a lot of negative ones, a lot of trolly ones, but those don't really get to me anymore. I think after you do this, you get desensitized. But you kind of get a gist of what people are saying and how you can improve it. All those things. And, you learn from the best YouTubers. I learn from, the YouTubers I watch, the sitcoms I watch, every form of media. I try to derive some sort of inspiration from it.
Do you watch Asian sitcoms and comedian stuff like that too? Or is it primarily like Western ones?
Are there Asian sitcoms? Maybe I don't know. I think I see I watch a lot of K-drama, But are there any Asian sitcoms? I mean, that's a good question. Is there like an Asian Brooklyn Nine-Nine, or is it half an hour episodes of like funny shit? I don't know, man. Like I know there are rom-coms like Crash Landing on You. That's great TV show. I love it. But yeah, I watch a lot of Asian media too, like Asian film, Korean film is a favorite, Hong Kong films. Yeah, I love that. I wish they made more. I think they had their heyday when I was growing up, but now it's a little bit on the decline, sadly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the questions.
Oh yeah,
here,
Kim's Convenience Asian sitcom. Yes, correct.
Yes.
But I'm thinking like Asian sitcoms from Asia. I know there's Kim's Convenience. I know there's Fresh Off the Boat as well. Yeah, great. Yeah.
One of the questions here was kind of around the languages that you speak, right? So how many languages do you speak, right? Because I think some people were very impressed of like your Mandarin.
Thanks. I speak 3: Malay, Mandarin, English, a little bit of Cantonese, but I wouldn't say I actually speak it. I can understand it better. So yeah, in Malaysia is like most people there are at least bilingual. I grew up kind of bilingual to trilingual, so it's quite common there. So people find it impressive. I'm like, no, don't find it impressive because I didn't choose to be like this. It's not like I downloaded Rosetta Stone when I was 5. It's just we grew up like that, speaking multiple languages, and we just picked it up.
Got it. And so, Nigel, like, what does your typical work week look like, right? Because obviously, you have a lot of, Uncle Roger duties, right? Your stand-up stuff, or your podcasts and stuff, right? Like how would you kind of say like you break up your schedule?
I think how would I break up my schedule? I think I essentially work every day, but some days not a lot of hours, some days more hours. I'm freelance, right? So essentially I work every day. I usually record everything on a Wednesday, so the podcast and Uncle Roger videos all done on the Wednesday, filming wise. So Monday, Tuesday I spend writing and concepting the Uncle Roger video. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday is editing.
Got it. And how do you partner with Evelyn on your podcast and stuff? Like, is that like you just have like an idea, then you kind of just riff for like an hour, or do you have like scripted stuff?
Yeah, it's mainly riffing. It's a podcast, right? It's conversational. You can't really script it, and that's the beauty of it. So we just come up with ideas. We have like a half an hour chat beforehand. Let's cover this, and this topic, and then we just jump into it. She does the editing. We have a podcast editor as well. So I just record, and then I'm done. So Evelyn handles all the uploads and everything.
Awesome. And then I noticed in the background you have your little like figurine, right? It's like where did that inspiration come from?
Well, I know a lot of YouTubers I like. They work with this company called U2s. So they just make these sort of figurines for YouTubers, and it's nice. I saw it. I was like, oh, I want one for myself, and then they wanted to work with me. So that's how I came up with it. I came up with the design. So I told them I want Uncle Roger to be sitting like this on the chair, and I even designed the box. I want to show my rice cooker in the background, stack of MSG. So I'm really proud of it. I think it's very well made, and it has a lot of heart in it. I think it's not just some mass-produced stuff. But fortunately, it's sold out now, so you guys can't get it anymore. So people seem to like it. There will be a second run. Hopefully, I'm thinking of like me, Uncle Roger sitting on the back of MSG or something. That's the next idea, and hopefully we'll get it out soon.
Which one is more special to you, your toy figurine or your lucky cats on the other side?
Oh yeah, both are both are valuable, man. The lucky cat is right there, but the lucky cat you can get anywhere. It's just like you can buy it online. I forget what the brand is now, but you can just Google like modern Scandinavian design Marimekko or something. Maneki cat, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the one that you have is very modern for sure. Like I've seen the ones that are like all gold, right?
Oh yeah, it's so ugly, so tacky. It only belongs on the dashboard of my dad's car. Your decor is bad when it belongs on the dashboard of an Asian parent's car. You know what I mean? They only have the worst, the tackiest shit. A little Buddha, that shakes around.
A bobblehead. Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. I think one of the questions here was kind of like your plans for touring and stuff, right? I know that's like kind of further, like in a few months or whatever. But like virtually, are you doing touring virtually, or are you like stand up virtually?
I've stopped doing stand up over Zoom now. It's grim, man. It's like it's so depressing. I think we are all like zoomed out, like exhausted tired of Zoom now, right? You go in and you have to wait around, and then so you ever go on Zoom and then you fart and then your yellow box lights up, all those little things. You have to press space bar to talk. I have friends who go on Zoom dates. I'm like, how do you do that, man? It's so depressing. Why not just risk getting sick and meeting someone at the park or something? Everything in life is risk and reward. You balance the threshold amount of risk you want to take, right? So I think just hanging outdoors, maintaining social distance, you still have to live a little bit and meet people in real life. So yeah, and the answer is no. I've stopped doing stand up on Zoom, but I want to, when things reopen up, get the vaccine, tour around doing stand up in real life. Yeah.
So would you say you enjoy the cooking part of like some of your videos and being critiqued, or do you like critiquing the other people's kind of videos and their cooking?
Oh, I like both, man. And to be honest, I don't cook as much as I used to because I'm just like busier now than I was last year. So I do a lot of like delivery apps. But cooking is fun, and I also like critiquing people cooking because someone has to do it, man. You've seen Western people fuck up our recipes, and nobody holds them accountable, and I do it in a fun way. And the things I say, I've researched, like when I was doing my first ramen video, I did two, Nigella Lawson's ramen and Jamie Oliver's ramen so far, right? And I actually hired, not hired, but I paid people, ramen experts, like money for an hour at a time. We go on a Zoom call, and then I do research on how actually proper ramen is prepared. So I actually do my research. And I think it still baffles me to this day how BBC, Channel 4, TV networks here, they get a chef to make Asian food without any research. I'm like, if me as one person, I can hire a guy and just found on Instagram to hop on the phone for an hour with me. Really, the Great British Bake Off, you can't hire one Japanese guy in the UK to talk you through what a Japanese bun entails. I did a video, Uncle Roger, reviewing Japanese Great British Bake Off, where they did Japan Week, but none of their buns were Japanese. So I think, all this stuff is well, I try to make it as well researched as I can. And hopefully people will know that, okay, if you're a Western TV channel, we're gonna make Asian food. Okay, let's try to be careful and make it properly, because there's this annoying guy, Uncle Roger, who's gonna come after us if we don't do it well. So maybe that can be my contribution to the Asian culture and Asian society. That's the Asian food police.
Got it. Would you say you have like a short list, Nigel, of folks that you want to collaborate with?
Yeah, I see someone mentioning Fuchsia Dunlop. Yes, please. I love her work. I think she knows what she's doing. And also you probably know a few of these social justice-y type or activist type people who go like, oh, only Asian people can make Asian food. When white people make Asian food, it's always bad, which is a very unnuanced take of the world. So I would love to work with people who are Asian, and also people who are not Asian who make Asian food well, because then it goes to show that it doesn't really matter what race you are, but you just have to spend time learning the food, learning the culture, like Gordon Ramsay does it well. So yeah, Fuchsia Dunlop would be great. Gordon would love to collab with him. He's a really, really busy guy. I've never even met him in real life before, even though he left a comment. So that would be nice. And any celebrity chef, really, someone's gonna take them down a peg or two. That some of them can be quite pretentious. And also any of the, Jiro dreams of sushi. Wouldn't it be great if I did a collab with Jiro, Uncle Roger? That'd be so fun.
Yeah, it would be amazing. And I think in one of your videos you mentioned Drake as well, or something like that.
Oh, that would be great. Oh yeah, that's a little plot. If Uncle Roger was Drake's cleaner, it was a podcast clip. Hiya, Drake, stop pouring champagne on all the stripper titty. Hiya. Something like that. That would be really fun. Yeah. Or any K-pop group, really. I think that would be fun too.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Can you review my friend's fried rice?
Probably not, because a lot of people ask me to do that. Sorry, Gaurav. And then someone asks, do you talk to the video creators before commenting on them? I've only done that once, and that was case cooking, because I just when I did the first BBC food one, and then Hersha came under a lot of attack, which was crazy. It's a comedy video. You just laugh and you get on with your lives, and people started DMing her really mean things. So there was, when I review someone who's not like a established person, not an established brand. You know, if it's Jamie Oliver, I'm not gonna message him. Hey Jamie, I'm gonna review your stuff because he's a multimillionaire. He'll be fine. But if it's a smaller time creator like Kay's Cooking, who if you don't know, she does fried rice. She just puts raw rice into a wok and just fries it. She runs a trolley comedy channel, and I think people know that. But she was the only one who I reached out first before and said, "Hey Kay, you mind if I review your video as Uncle Roger?" And she just like, "Yeah, go for it." And then so it was all good natured and fun. It's all good.
Cool. Yeah. We're actually seeing a few different type of other people to kind of spur some inspiration, Nigel, on like who to collaborate with, right? Like Nicholas C. in Hong Kong, right? Like
that'd be great.
Singer to like chef and stuff like that. Like is that something as well? Just kind of expanding and going to like Hong Kong or something like that.
Of course, yeah. But I want to do it in person, so hopefully I do get to fly out there. I know there are people in the US who I want to collab with, Joshua Weissman, who I've reviewed. We're going to make something together. Or even Cowboy Kent Rollins, I think he's in Oklahoma. So that would be really, really fun. But yeah, if I'm ever in Hong Kong, or if they reach out and they want to say, have an idea to make a video, then yeah, I'm happy to fly out there. I just want to make the best video I can make, and sometimes that requires, flying somewhere. And then you get it's a different, everywhere you go, it's going to be different, right? We did a video in Sweden where we visited a Chinese ghost town, and that was just not a video you can make anywhere else in the world. So I'm also very proud of that. Yeah,
amazing. Let's see, one of the things around like bloopers, right? So the end of your videos are always so funny because you include like a few minutes of bloopers, right? So like what is your favorite blooper, would you say, that you've done?
I think when I worked at a coffee shop and then I unplugged the Wi-Fi, they actually couldn't get it to work again. So because I just wanted the shot, right? And I think it's also every coffee shop owner's secret dream to be like, oh, why are you just here using an laptop and just unplugging everything in the router and destroying it? So I just I didn't even tell them I was going to do that. I just said, fuck this router. I just took it out. We got the shot, cut. And then they tried to put it back on, but we couldn't get it to work for the rest of the day. But that was cool.
And so, Nigel, like your videos are roughly like 20-ish minutes or so, right? But
10 to 15,
right? But like, how long would you say you're recording? Is it like a full day of recording that you're just kind of like cutting down to like 10, 15 minutes?
If it's a location shoot, like the Chef one, then yeah, we are probably on location recording for like 5 hours, and sometimes more if I realize, like the Chinese ghost town one, there were a lot of parts that weren't that funny, so we spent the whole day essentially recording. We woke up at like 8 and then traveled there, and then we had to factor in travel time, so that was about an 8-hour day. But usually location shoots around 5 hours. For reaction videos, because I plan out the jokes in advance, I've written down the lines I want to hit, then it's probably just 2 hours.
Got it. This last question around like how do you handle some of these customers, right? When you're actually out there, right? Like either selling shoes or selling boba or whatever, taking orders, right? It's like, are you giving them like a heads up or like afterwards, like this is in character or whatever, or how does that work?
We give them all a heads up because the behind the scenes is for anybody to appear in your video, you got to get them to sign a release form just so you don't get sued, right? So we give them all a heads up. A lot of the times they are my fans who come out and who want to be in the video, and those are great because they'll play along. They'll come with like their own ideas on what's funny. They know the Uncle Roger character, right? So they know what to say to rile him up, and it's really funny. And then they'll bring their own lines, and I won't know what they're gonna say, and then it's very genuine, very organic interaction. But then there'll be some people who just see like the crowd, and then they're like, "Oh, what's happening?" And I want to be in this too, and then they'll just do it. And then probably some people who come with no lines, and I have to feed them some lines. So yeah, everybody has a heads up. It's not a hidden camera show. Although I wish I could do that, but because I'm filming at my friend's restaurant, I don't want to cause them any trouble. I don't want them to lose business.
Absolutely. One of the recent comments here is please come to our kitchen here at Google. We have on-site chefs and stuff. I think it'd be hilarious for a follow-up video if you're up for it, Nigel. To
that would be funny.
Do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I just be like the I don't know. Is it like self-serve? Is it like self-service buffet style at Google, or do you have like proper chefs?
So we do have chefs who we have actually, many different chefs, right? And depending on the cafe and stuff, right? Most of them are like buffet style and stuff like that, but some, I think are a little bit more upscale and stuff here in Mountain View, California. But I think it would be actually is a really good idea, from Kayla, looks like, right? So maybe we can follow up afterwards and figure that out once things get a little bit better and settled.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think I can work as either a chef or I can just go around judging what people eat in the Google offices. Yeah, that'd be sick.
That'd be awesome. Well, Nigel, thank you so much. I'm not sure if there's any last questions or so. We're almost up out of time here. Or if Nigel, if you have anything else that you want to say to everyone here at Talks at Google.
Well, thank you for watching, everyone, and I hope it was entertaining, and I hope you keep watching the Uncle Roger videos and everything I do. Check out my YouTube channel. It's Mr. Nigel Ng, or you can just search Uncle Roger. And check out my podcast. It's called Rise to Meet You. It's a comedy podcast about Asian culture, but it's accessible to everybody, and it's just two friends trying to be funny.
Great. Thank you again, Nigel, for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. See ya.